Hey everyone, so today we're gonna learn how to make authentic churros. We're gonna start with 250 milliliters of boiling water and add to that oil, sugar and some salt, and we're gonna stir this while heating the water so it comes to a boil very quickly. The reason we start with boiling water is so that we know we're not losing any water because we want all of that to go into the dough. Once the water comes to a boil, just turn off the stove and then mix in the flour into the boiling water until it's very well hydrated. Then cover the pot with the lid and allow the dough to steam for about 2 minutes to allow all the flour to be very well hydrated by all the water that's in the dough. Just mix the dough a few times to make sure there aren't any big dry spots. Then add the tablespoon of oil and mix it in until the oil is partially absorbed. Then you can turn out the dough onto your countertop or a wooden board, and then you want to lightly knead it by folding the dough over itself about 4 or 5 times just to make sure all the oil is absorbed by the dough and it looks smooth like this. Put the dough into a bowl and then cover it with plastic wrap so that it doesn't dry out, and then let it cool down until it's just a little bit warm or at room temperature. For the chocolate sauce, first in a pot place some water, some cocoa powder and some salt, and then whisk it really well while heating to dissolve the cocoa powder and to bring the water to a simmer. You also have the option of adding a little bit of butter into your water mixture just to add a little bit of richness to your chocolate sauce. Once the water comes to a simmer, you can remove the pot from the stove and then pour the hot water over your chocolate chips that are placed in a large bowl. Then cover the bowl and let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. After this, the chocolate chips should be mostly melted in the water, so you can whisk it until you get a really nice smooth chocolate sauce with a really nice smooth consistency that looks like this. Set the chocolate sauce aside until the churros are ready. Making the cinnamon sugar could not be easier. Mix about half a cup of sugar with some cinnamon and then whisk it until all the cinnamon has dispersed to the sugar, and then set it aside. Place a closed style tip into a pastry bag. I use the 845 or 846, which has a 1/2 inch opening. Once it's in the piping bag, just cut off the tip of the piping bag so that you can squeeze out the churro dough. Place the churro dough that is now a little warm or at room temperature into the piping bag, and then make sure that you push it all the way through close to the tip, and then twist the opening of the piping bag to make sure that the dough doesn't dry out. Squeeze just a little bit of the dough to make sure that everything is working fine, and now you're ready to fry the churros. The oil should be heated to about 350 to 375, and then once it's at that temperature, you can start frying your churro dough. Just pipe the dough straight into the oil like you can see I'm doing here, and then use a scissor to cut the churro when it's at the right length. Use a wooden skewer or a chopstick to move the churros around in the oil to prevent them from sticking, and then fry them for about 3 to 4 minutes until they look a dark golden brown color like this. Allow the excess oil to drain just for a little bit, but while the churros are still warm, toss them in the cinnamon sugar if you would like to. I do like to eat these churros without the cinnamon sugar, that's just my preference, but the rest of my family prefers it with the cinnamon sugar. Serve the churros while they're still warm so that they're really crunchy on the outside but soft and chewy on the inside, and don't forget to serve them along with the chocolate sauce or some dulce de leche. I absolutely love how super crunchy these churros are, and they're so easy to make too. You can find the full recipe plus all the tips that I share on my blog, theflavorbender.com.